Everything is in readiness, Megatron.
Are you sure the new space bridge will be large enough?
Affirmative. But delivering the cargo will use up all our remaining energon cubes.
We will worry about that later.
Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the Magic Square MS-B32A. This is the recolored version of their Spock, their take on a very G1-esque Legends scale version of Shockwave. And overall, it's a pretty good figure. It does look great. It does fit the bill, fit the part. There's a couple of quirky parts about it overall, but I'm pretty happy with this figure. I did get this at Show Z, and you can get yours too. I'm going to have a link down below where you can get yours. So let's take a look at this guy. I'll tell you the good, the bad, the pluses, the minuses coming up. Here is the box, the packaging, and it just looks like simple Magic Square box. Funny thing is, though, it seems like most of these third-party companies removed the plastic. New Age still kind of has some of the plastic in theirs, but Magic Square used to, and no longer. But if it's going to give us a cheap price, I mean, they keep the price down. So I guess that works. It's pretty simple, though. Pretty simple packaging. All right, so let's take a good look at this guy right here. And he does look pretty good. And he's a darker purple. I think the camera makes him look even deeper dark. He looks more like a grape color than super dark purple, but I like the look of him. I think it looks pretty good. The first one, see, I passed on the first one thinking we'd get a better painted version down the road. Now this one really isn't painted so much. It's more just a different color of plastic, and the plastic has a bit of a sheen to it, but the first one was sort of a lavender wave. But yeah, looking at it all around, he's a pretty smooth, clean figure all the way around, and so it's kind of where it's gotten these days with these Legends figures. They do look really good from all angles. So real quick, looking at him though, a few points. He does have that one painted dot on his face, like always, and then he's got paint right here on those side pieces of the antenna. He does come with a gun so he can hold himself. Now this is two pieces. This barrel comes off, and he comes with a slew of hands, and we'll get into that here in just a bit. And he has a uniflap, which I think that's a bit of a turnoff, but when he gets this small, I understand that. You know, your Legends get a pass on some of these things. Now, I don't think this is painted, but it's kind of a bit of a shiny look to it right there. But see, this paint matches this, so I do kind of think it's painted because they're the same. You can't cast it in a certain color and make it match the paint exactly this close. But this paint looks a little bit different, so overall. And then there's the feet down there. But, I mean, really not a ton of paint on this guy overall, but it does look great. Let's go ahead and quickly get into some articulation. The head goes side to side, and it's really not a whole lot of head articulation. You can look way up, down. It's not like you can extend the neck or anything like that, and it's going to tuck away inside there here in a bit when we transform it. Shoulder goes up to here, but then of course you always have that. You could get a higher range of shoulder if you just go up like that. So this depends on how you want to do things. Now you got to be careful with this. Now the hose itself, it pops in and out. It comes separate. You can install it yourself. It's not like it's glued in or anything. So the thing about it is, though, does it fit in your Boulder Hill on your mask collection? So that's the big question there. You do have the bicep swivel like always, which it's not one to do. You have a lot of range with that elbow, and the elbow, although it kind of just disappears, doesn't really look that bad. And so then I guess you could turn this around if you want to. I guess there's some articulation in that piece if you want to. I guess that comes off. So, and then we have the waist swivel, super Magic Square ab crunch. Like every Magic Square can do this ab crunch, it seems like. I think. I don't know about Seekers, but I don't have those. So, okay, so we talk about the flaps here. And then, of course, forward, back that much, out to the side, out to the side. He's got heavy lower legs. And so this is kind of something, the beefy lower legs. I would have liked this to be a little slimmer, a little sleeker. So that beefiness is just a little bit beefier than I would like, but it's still not a deal breaker for me. And then down here with the knee, is it double? Yep, double jointed on the knee. Looks like he's frolicking. And then we got some toe movement and some ankle tiltage. So I mean, pretty much everything you would expect and you would need. And Magic Square's been doing pretty good with all that articulation. Okay, so we got a ton of accessories here. We got a card and a hose, an extra hose. So in case you mess up one, you've got another one. So if you want to use two on your boulder hill. So we've got a slew of hands here. Just, I don't really know why so many hands, but we've got like closed grip, sort of open grip, clear, and colored, and all this kind of stuff. I did pull this one off to kind of do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the clear translucent looking piece on here. Now I understand that the original one had some sort of light up feature that this one lacks, but all right, and then right here, let's just say we get a salute going on. Looks like take it out of the connection point to put it into here. So you don't have clear. Do we have a clear connection point? Yeah, we do. We actually do have a clear connecting point here. And then we can slide that in here. And then we can have him giving a salute. But do we have a second clear connection point? Yeah, we do. So that's kind of why I guess there's just so much going on in here. So we can have him do his salutes, which he has the articulation for that salute. And he's got the saluting hand. You can do the saluting hand, whether it's clear or you want it with this sort of pink looking color. You can have him salute with the pink looking color. Weird thing is though, I don't see a connecting point. Yeah, I do. There we go. Now he's got all clear. It's all clear. Megatron. Yeah, so that's what he looks like if you go clear. I don't know if I'm gonna stick with clear or go with the pink. I don't know yet. I'm not really sure. I think I might just hold off for a bit and figure it out. But I think that's just might be too much purple going on at once, you know? So maybe we do need that little pink breakup in the hands. All right, we're about to get into some comparisons, and it's going to get a little bit hairy here, but just stick with me. Okay, first of all, I want to say that this is a McFan's Toys, and for a while, I think maybe it was based on DX9 or, I don't know, one of the early ones. There was some early company that was making Legends, and then McFan's Toys knocked them off, and there we go. So this was really, when I talk about this being a little bit too bulky for me, I'm being ultra picky because look how bulky that is, and like everything, it just doesn't really match the character 100%. So then we can bring in, and let's see how we can do this to make some more sense. Now, I did use this Cyberverse one because I thought it looked better than what was going on over here. And although it still wasn't what I wanted, and the color's a little bit weird, I just thought, it fits the scale and it looks okay, and it was basically free because I bought a Cyberverse set and I didn't really count that, and I was like, well, you know what? It might work on my Legends shelf. So it has been there for like a year and a half, so 2 years as one of mine. So there's also this one here, which is, I think, a Hasbro Legends. And I bought it to be a gun to go with one of my figures, but then I got another, like a Warbotron gun, to go with one of my combiners. So the combiner holds the gun or something along those lines. So, there's a whole lot of fun there. But looking at all of this here, this one definitely wins. The only real competition for this is New Age, and I still think this one beats out the New Age, but I haven't handled the New Age. Let's get this in a good shot so it all is in there. But yeah, there's the Legends Shockwaves that I've messed with lately. All right, so looking at these, as you can see, this is why I really am more or less a Magic Square fan over New Age. So you see, this is Magic Square's Megatron. This is New Age's Megatron. Just looking at two of them, like this blows Agamemnon away. Agamemnon is a little sleeker and slimmer, but I don't know, I prefer the aesthetic of the Magic Square. It seems like if you just wait long enough, you get a little bit better finish from Magic Square, which I thought this was going to get more or less this finish treatment, but at the end of the day, it still looks pretty good. They look good together on the shelf, but yeah, I do like the Magic Square, looks better. Magic Square Soundwave, and see, I skipped the repaint of him because the darker color, I like the lighter color, so I just like this one better. So with that, though, Soundwave, it's the same kind of aesthetic across the board. You can see like a little bit thicker on the lower legs on all of these, but they still look amazing. And I'm really not counting New Age out at all. New Age does great work. Just like, look what they did with their, I forgot what they called their Galvatron. It slips my mind. But anyway, their Galvatron looks really good, and then their Cyclonus looks really good. So, they're moving in the right direction for me. So, it's really a release-by-release basis on which one I like more. Here are some good guy comparisons. So to be fair to New Age, this Grimlock just looks fantastic. He's huge too, which, you know, for looking at, you know, the size of Legends and stuff. So New Age is crossed into, in my opinion, the full-on Legends scale, not a Legends minus. But yeah, look at that. That looks good. And then next to Prime, which, I mean, Prime doesn't see much of Shockwave because Prime doesn't spend much time on Cybertron. But anyway, there you go. Now for transformation, so there's some goofy stuff here with this transformation. And, you know, Magic Square gets a little bit more involved with their transformation. Their transformations are a bit more involved. But, you could disconnect this hose so it's not like a problem or anything. But they say that you need to kind of rotate it for whatever reason. There's a lot of rotating stuff around here. They also say that you need to pull these legs down and then you need to rotate them around just the hip. Like so. Now, if anybody has questions like, Mike, why did you not get your mana petty this week? It's just because it just wasn't an issue. It wasn't something I was worried about. No, actually, I like to keep my nails a little longer when I transform stuff. All right, so we're going to get to pulling this out and then pop that out, tuck his head in, and then his head going to go in that cavity all the way in there. Come on, man. All right, so should free it up to where the hands can go up. Is that the right angle and all that? Okay, so anyway, got to get all the stuff at the right angle. Guess I turned the wrong things, but all right. Anyway, so getting into this backpack thing is going to be the problem. So this really doesn't fit. Like, I had to literally cram this backpack on here. So I really don't know how easy it is to get this thing off. Well, that was actually easier to get off than getting it on. That was like a serious kind of problem there. So let's make sure I've got these arms aligned properly. Notch here and a tab here. So those are going to be lined up, ready to go in. And then you're going to lift this up. You're going to untab this stuff here, which could be hard to untab with that backpack that was on it. And then you're unfurling all of this to bring it up and over. And then you're going to tuck this in to here and tab it in like that. Then you can close this and tab it into here like so. And so with all of this, we can kind of lift this sight up, make it unsightly, put these flaps out, and part of this we're going to need the flap down on this, so that's just the way that's going to be. Anyway, so then we need to start with the legs, so undoing the leg here, and there's a whole lot of stuff going on in the legs. Undo this like so, and then it comes out. Bringing it out like this. So this is going to fold over onto here. Leave that flap up like so. And then this folds around like this. And then we have to open the feet and then flip the feet around and then fold. That stays out, this folds up. And so this goes all into here. This piece here needs to come out and make this so that this can go into here. Open this up. fold this out, fold this down and around. This is going to come around this direction, fold up into here. This is going to, yeah, that's right. This comes up and flips around. And then this piece here needs to come out. It's like the rear end cover piece. And then, I'm going to have to put it all together. So in the process here and what I was doing, I kind of didn't do that right. One of the things with this, so the hips, we dropped the hips, and as I'm transforming this, I pushed the hips back up. So that's one of the things I did wrong. So make sure your hips are positioned properly so that it all connects properly. And I guess we could just leave this out till we get it fully connected. And there's a couple of tab points that we're about to see here that are all going to come together at once. Tab connection here, here, and then up top, and then tabs into the waist piece here. This comes around, and so now it's starting to all tab in. This kind of goes up and over. And I locked in on that side without me really having to pay attention to it. But now I've got to just kind of try to get these legs to tab together just right. Which it kind of seems like the feet are impeding the legs to tab together. So I might have to work on that just a bit. So this one is good and this one is not. So that tab has got to go into there. Tab right there was impeding the whole process. And here we go. All right, so I'm going to fold this up at the back, and I'm just going to go around and make sure everything's tabbed in just right. We're going to take a look at this guy. Okay, so I did one thing wrong in my transformation, and so with that, this, as you see the screws on the top here, they should be on the bottom, on the shoulders, which didn't really affect the transformation because of the way it works. But to me, I didn't really see that it would work this way. So anyway, it didn't make a difference, but it looks a little less, it's a little unsightly with being able to see that hinge right there. It was bothering me for a second there, so I just wanted to fix that and make it look right. So that's what it looks like when it's right. It only took like 20 seconds to reverse those shoulders, and really no biggie. It looks so much better actually. But anyway. So that's one thing I did wrong. Now, I've got it on the stand, and you're supposed to be able to hold it on the stand, and I'll show that in a second here, but everybody seems to have the same issue. And so I put a little rubber band around this to hold it together tight enough. Now, it holds together okay, but not tight enough for this little clip on the stand. So I'm going to show how it works. So there's a tab here with these 2 feet come together, and there's a slot and a tab, and this holds together. There's just not enough tension with those connecting points to make it work without me putting a rubber band on it or something. Just, it's really hard to do. It's one of those things that's like, you know what? Let's have them stand on the stand. That's a good idea. Let's sit around the board. You know how you're sitting around the boardroom and you're saying stuff like, it'd be really smart to get rid of the plastic in the packaging and then charge between $3 and $13 more a figure. And, you know, that's super duper smart, right? And then it looks like it was actually made to do this as a stand. But, so, overall, it looks pretty good. And, you know, the first one had lighting effect, which this one does not. And looking around, it looks quintessentially Shockwave. And one of the things with my old Shockwave, I was able to make it stand on its own like this, sort of, sometimes, because of all the weight in the die-cast in it. There's no die-cast in this, of course. But overall, yeah, it looks good. It's a pretty good mode. There's some hollowness in the bottom. I have the screws exposed up top because I have the shoulders positioned improperly. So that was kind of a silly part of my transformation. But it does all sort of tab together pretty well, aside from just that little spot on the feet down there. There's a lot of tiny little tabs, like right here there's tabs on the feet, and then right here, this tabs into here, and then and all that stuff. But once you get all the tabs done, it works pretty good, you know. This is also, they say it's a battleship, so anyway, So yeah, it looks pretty good, and it's, I don't know, kid's hand. It would look like it actually fit. Pew pew. So this is another thing. You're not going to get this mode at retail. Yeah, you won't get it in the core. I don't know. Will the core class ever do like a gun like this, a minigun? Who knows? Maybe. I doubt it. But if it was like an accessory gun to go with your figures, maybe. Yeah, the core class could do. Because I didn't get the core class Shockwave. I don't know what it turns into, to tell you the truth. So it'd be kind of interesting to find that out. But so on the back here, so this is another issue. So there are some issues with the transformation. So this is not a perfect figure, but an issue with tabbing these in. So you can tab them in, but I'm just afraid getting them back out might be a problem, or breaking it. And it looks fine without tabbing it in. So to me, I just don't see the point of going through the trouble, the massive pressure you got to put to tab those in. But yeah, it looks pretty good overall. I'm pretty pleased with it. So let's do some comparisons. So I'm not going to bother at all comparing this to these other Shockwaves I have, because their alt modes are garbage. Their robot modes are okay, but the alt modes are garbage. So the kind of a waste. This would completely annihilate them. So this is other peers. This is the peers. These are on the level. This is Iron Factory. This is Magic Square. This is, I think, New Age Magic Square New Age. Yeah, if I get it right. New Age 1.0. So anyway, yeah, that's some comparison right there. What do you think? So final thoughts after messing with it today. I think it is a really good figure overall. The alt mode does look pretty good. The transformation is not, to me, it's just really not that much fun. And it's not really all that intuitive. So I think that's part of it being fun. But it is interesting how they went about doing it. And similar in ways to some others, but different in some ways also. And it does never feel like I'm really going to break it. I mean, there's some real thin points in there. And at a point where I thought I was going to break it, a part just popped off. I popped it back on. That was this piece here. And so with that, I think it went off camera on the transformation or something. But still, it does feel pretty good. I like the inclusion of the little mini-me figure. I like the fact that he can hold himself there. And I think they're overly excessive with the amount of hands that you get, because I'm never going to need that many hands at once or even use them all. But it's nice to have, I guess you could say. I like the new color of this versus the first one. I do think the lower legs are a little bit too thick for my liking, but that's kind of one of my Magic Square complaints. Overall, I'm very satisfied with it. I'm happy with it. And am I happy that I picked this over New Age? From all the pictures, yes. But until I get a New Age in my hand, I really can't truly say, because I hear a lot of great things about the New Age one. But anyway, you can get this at Show Z. I'll have a link down below where you can get yours. And you know what? The first one was sold out about a year and a half ago, and it hasn't shown back up. And it might be another year and a half, 2 years, till Magic Square reissues this. So I wouldn't sleep on this if you're looking to get one of these. So anyway, let me know in the comments below if you like this, if you're in on this, or if you've already got the New Age and you're happy with it. I like to know that kind of stuff too. Like, subscribe to Dear Hanger out.
Space bridge completed. We are ready to transport Cybertron. Entering final countdown phase. If energy pylons are not operational, Cybertron will be catapulted into oblivion.